Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. This is Gina. So, as you may or may not know, the Manhattan DA's office has been battling with Trump in court. They've been trying to obtain his tax records and other financial records as part of an ongoing criminal case that's being reviewed by a grand jury. The DA for Manhattan is Cyrus Vance, and he is investigating potential criminal activity undertaken by Trump and others at the Trump Organization. It includes bank and insurance fraud, as well as the hush money payments that Trump allegedly paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal. Well, approximately 1 month ago, the Supreme Court ruled that Donald Trump could not block the release of his financial records strictly because he's the sitting president of the United States, which was his argument. They did, however, say that he could appeal using a different argument, which he promptly did after the Supreme Court handed down that ruling. So his attorney took the case to another federal court, and they made the argument that the DA's office is attempting to obtain his information for political reasons and strictly to harass the president. They also argued that the request is too broad and it will do damage to Donald Trump as if his information is allowed to leak, which is unlikely because, again, this is being undertaken and overseen by a grand jury, which I'll explain in a second what that means. Well, today, unfortunately, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, which is who they took it to, temporarily blocked the release of Donald Trump's financial information and tax returns, giving him a temporary win. And the reason I say it's temporary is because the matter will be settled on September 25th in a scheduled hearing. As I mentioned, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the term grand jury, or maybe you're in a different country that uses a different phrase or method, the primary difference between a grand jury and a traditional jury is, well, there's a few things. A grand jury is typically made up of 23 members of the public, and they convene in private because the suspect or alleged suspect has not officially been charged with a crime yet. And prosecutors also, in addition to wanting to protect them, because if they choose not to bring charges, but the information is leaked out, then it gives the public perception that they did do something wrong. So that's why they do all of this in secrecy. And the prosecutors also want witnesses to feel free to be as candid and honest as possible. So witnesses come in, they don't necessarily have an attorney with them. There's more evidence that's allowed to be brought before the jurors in a grand jury than what you see in a criminal trial. Also, the juror's job in a grand jury is to provide their opinion as to whether the suspect should be indicted and if charges should be brought against him or her. In a traditional jury, there's not only 12 people who are selected and brought in, so much less, but they're also only brought in after an indictment has already been issued. So prosecutors have already charged someone with a crime by the time a jury is convened. And unlike a traditional jury, in a grand jury, the votes do not need to be unanimous. So all jurors on the grand jury do not need to agree for an indictment to be issued. But depending on the jurisdiction, and this is another difference, 2/3 or 3/4 of the grand jury members must agree for charges to be brought. A standard jury must reach a unanimous decision. All 12 of the jurors in a standard jury must agree guilty or not guilty. Otherwise, it's considered to be a hung jury, and so no verdict is handed down in the case, and then the prosecutors are left to decide, do we move forward with another trial and try it again? Do we let it go? So very, very different. But most things in a grand jury, as I mentioned, are kept secret. So the fact that Trump is trying to argue that his financial information is going to leak out as a result of a grand jury, it's unlikely, but we'll see. We've got a few weeks and then we should have a final, hopefully this is the final decision in this matter. It has just gone round and round. It's been insane. So anyway, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe. I will let you know as soon as something comes up in this grand jury case. As always, take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.